Hello everyone and welcome to a quick tutorial video. I just want to show you how to insert a heel flap and gusset while you're doing a helical sock when you just want to knit the heel in one color. So here I'm striping a black and a green, and I just wanted my heel in black, and then you can see once the heel's done I pick up in the green again. So I just want to explain how I set up and how I work for that. So that's what this video will be. This video is not intended to teach you how to knit a sock or how to knit in helical. This is just like an extra resource for someone who knows how to knit a sock and knows how to knit helically, but they're not sure about how to fit the heel flap in. So that's just what this video is for. I hope you enjoy it. So I'm working in two colors here. I've got a green hand-dyed variegated yarn, and I have a black, and I want to work with my black color as my heel. So I'm going to show you, I've finished knitting these black stitches up until the last three of my green. So as usual, we're just going to slip these 3 stitches and then begin knitting as usual. And what we're going to aim to do is to have the green yarn on one end and the black yarn on the other end. So I have already knit the sock so that the leg is the length I want before I put the heel in. And it doesn't matter if there's one extra row or one less row when you're busy working it to make sure that it fits into the pattern you want. So we've worked those few green stitches. Now we're going to carry on the other side. I work magic loop. So this is I've just got a marker to show this is the front of my sock. And I'm going to just knit across all of these black stitches with my green. Alright, I've come to the last stitch of this little section here, and I'm going to leave this yarn here because I've now knit across the front of my sock. So when I get ready to pick up my gusset stitches for my heel, once I've already done the heel flap, then my green is now perfectly positioned to pick up those stitches. So this green is right where we want it. We're going to leave it right there. Now your black or your other color that you're going to work your heel in, mine is almost in the middle of this row or this side, but it doesn't really matter where it is. If you're lucky, it'll be close to this end, but if you're unlucky, it'll be close to this end. And it doesn't really matter because if you have been knitting helically, you know that those 3 stitches will move round and round and they will always be in a different place. So it doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is we're going to slip all the way to where the working yarn is. So we're going to slip all of those stitches onto this needle. And we're going to slip purlwise. Oops, one too far. All right. So we have got back to where our black tail begins, and we can continue working just to the end of this row. And this is almost your first row of your heel, your sort of setup row. So So there we go. You can see we have the green yarn is on one side, we have the black on the other, and the black is the one I want to do my heel with. So I've brought some DPNs because I like to work my heel on a DPN, so we're just going to begin working the heel. So I'm going to turn because it's a heel flap, so it's going to be worked flat, working backwards and forwards in whatever stitch pattern you have chosen. So I slip the first stitch of mine, and then I'm just going to purl all the way across, and you can literally just start working your heel pattern, whether you're doing a slip stitch or a plain heel, or you're doing garter or eye of partridge, whichever kind of heel flap you want to work. It's at this point that you're just going to be working your heel back and forth, and I will catch back up with you once I'm ready to pick up my stitches for my heel flap. Alright, so in no time for you and lots of time for me, I'm back. I've finished the heel with the heel flap, I've turned, and I'm getting ready to pick up my stitches for the gusset. So, as I said before, we've got this green is ready to start picking up the stitches. I always tuck my needles inside the sock so that they don't get in the way. Alright, so we've got this green yarn that we're going to start working with since we worked the heel in black, and of course it's black, so it's going to be very difficult for you to see. Let me remove that stitch marker, was just for counting how many slip stitches I did. But basically, like you would usually do, you're just going to start picking up your stitches and working back in your usual clockwise way. So now we're going to work until 3 stitches before the last stitch, well, 3 stitches including the last stitch, so 2 stitches before the last stitch, as we were doing as usual for our helical knitting. So I have 3 stitches, I'm going to slip them, drop my green, and we're back to working with the black. So I don't need my DPNs anymore. So I'm going to pick up the stitches for the second half of my heel flap in black. So the first half I picked up in green, the second half I'm going to pick up in black. So we have all the heel flap stitches picked up, and we have our normal stitches on the front. So we are going to continue knitting in the round. And again, because we're doing helical knitting, we're going to be knitting until the last 3 stitches of the green. So I have 3 stitches left. I'm going to slip them purlwise, drop my black, and carry on working with my green. And so you're just going to now basically go back to knitting the same way you were for normal helical knitting, and just work your decreases for the gusset stitch while you're busy doing the helical knitting, but it's basically exactly the same. So I just wanted to show you how to set up for doing a solid color heel in helical knitting.